Bruh.
Two hours later.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
You know, awful event ban list is nothing new from Konami. Remember the first event where, I should say the first three events, like you had like the Xyz and the Synchro and the stuff. It was just all floodgates, True Draco, Eldritch BS with a splash of self TK in the first one. And I thought that they improved, like they were improving as the events go by, you know, like the Legend of Mythology one. Yeah, there were some questionable choices like Kaiser being legal and banning all the hand traps, so that when you have one of the three best decks being legal in the format, either Speedroid ending on Omni Negates, DDDs, or Rincess, you know, if they go first, it's like an auto win for them. You know, like that was kind of iffy, but at the very least, the Legend of Mythology had the decency to ban Maxi, and you know, games that didn't involve those three decks were playable. But now you have this Xyz event. The third time they're bringing in an Xyz event. The third time. You would think they would learn from their past two ban lists. So, unfortunately, let's take a look. Alright, Dimensional Barrier is banned, you know, makes sense. Shuts off Xyz for entire turn. Why is this legal? Konami. A card that just blankets on either player's turn. It's even better than Deep Barrier, because you don't have to go first to use this. And then it just stops it stops someone from, like, the entire purpose of playing this event, which is to Xyz summon. Like why? I doubt this is, like, I highly doubt this is even them being lazy and just forgetting. Because, again, they've ran this Xyz Festival 3 times. The first 2 times, this was banned. Like, straight up. If they were literally too lazy and just copy-pasted the ban list from the previous events, like, this would still be banned. They actively, when the new cards introduced themselves and they were looking like, and they were creating a ban list for the Xyz event, they actively saw something like Flying Sea, and they're like, yeah, this is okay, this is fine. Like Max C being legal in an event that encourages special summon from the extra deck, like that's one thing already. That's already a problematic in like a casual event like this. But that's like one thing. That's like Max C is at least like it's a card that's used in every format. Like this Flying Sea specifically just targets you, it prevents you from Xyz something, the whole point of this event, and they kept it legal for this specific Xyz event when it was banned for the first 2. And this leads me to my next point, which is the bane issue of this event, is that we've gone full circle, and now the most popular decks during the Xyz event are decks that don't Xyz summon. Just like the first few events we had with those awful ban lists. But, you know, now the whole point of this video is I'm going to show you the decks that you want to be playing if you don't want to get screwed by Flying Sea. The actual best decks to play this event. Okay, probably the most common of the non-Xyz decks you'll see is Labrynth. You see right here. Can this deck go into rank 4s or rank 10s with Lord of the Heavenly Prison? I mean absolutely, sure, but none of this stuff really matters. You might go into a single rank 4 or something into Zeus one every 7 or 8 games, you know, but probably not, because you'll just get Flying Seed when you do. But I mean, this This deck just sits on these lab monsters, and then recurs their back row over and over again. There's no Xyz summoning required at all, really. Especially Terrors and Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. I mean, your opponent's never gonna stick an Xyz monster in the first place between all your traps and your welcome Labrynth. And Max C does very little to you, and Flying C also, like who cares, like really. And if you go first, provided you don't get Lightning Stormed out of the game or Duster out of the game, you're most likely going to beat any Xyz deck in the format anyways. So, yeah. The length that people will go to play this deck in any extra deck based event. You saw this in Link format, bro. If this was out there in Fusion format, you might have seen this during Fusion too. But Xyz format, you know, the extra mechanic that literally is the least affected by M-Pin because everything can just go in defense. People are playing this, and like, I didn't come up with this deck list myself. I got this from someone. I saw this somewhere else and I copied it. Triple all max copies of birds that you're allowed to play. Triple Jack in a hand. Triple Planet Pathfinder to search out your map. So, yeah, I mean, the extra deck is completely fake. You'll never go into any of this stuff. And what's even dumber is, so Xyz has this effect that can bounce cards on the field back to the hand. So when you Flying C your opponent and you summon to their field, and then you end their turn. On your turn, you can rise back the Flying C to your hand, and you have permanent Flying C. So literally, even if your opponent has like the perfect out has to your back row, like they literally have Twin Twister in the draw phase hitting both your map and your Dreaming Town. Well, I mean, guess what? They're still not playing the game because they're gonna get Flying Seed. And you know, don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that summons Flying C and then tries to use your flu effects with Town or Dreaming Town or map, because you know, fun fact, flu, this doesn't matter for literally any other build of flu, but you know, Maxi is technically you special summoning a card, so you can't use your flu effects and Flying C on the same turn. You know, don't read your cards. If you're gonna play this war crime of a deck, at least play it properly. Like, get it over with quickly. Okay. You thought flu was bad, and to be honest, it really is. But Umi Control is just legal enough to be playable and be another deck that does just not give a crap about Flying C. And yeah, you know, fantastic. More a monster floodgate that actually does something. You know, unlike M-Pin. So yeah, fortunately, I have not ran into this, but funnily enough, if I were to play into this with my shark deck, I would actually have more game against it than in most decks, since I could simply make rank 4s with my level 5 sharks. And I do run a rank 3 water that pops spell and traps, but I mean that's neither here nor there. It's not about this. This isn't a shark deck profile. This is an Umi Control deck profile. Once again, the absolute fakest extra deck that you go into one in every 12 to 15 games, maybe, if you're trying to BM. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's no pots, so you gotta run the most. Honestly, probably run 3 of this. Why not? You know, we want to see Umi and Kairushin This summons out Kairyu-shin. This gets Kairyu-shin. This gets Umi. This gets you 2 cards. And I feel like Flying Sea is more impactful than. I mean, it's not really like I actually probably try to fit in Max C too, because Max C is a broken card, and at worst it discards Ash, you know, which actually hurts this deck. I mean, there's a lot of blind second crap, so like if you're made to, like if you're going first, right, which you will against the blind second matchup, then you have Max C. Like Max C's not doing anything for you because you're not running other really impactful stuff to draw into to keep you alive. But I mean, unless you know you're drawing Flying Sea, but then you play against Numeron, and it's like, well, this doesn't matter anyway. So it's, yeah, like what a great format, honestly. Alright, so I mentioned previously that I didn't think Numeron was going to be the pick because you're not going to be able to do your missions, your Xyz summoning missions with this, but I'll explain something about that later. So you don't need to worry about doing your Xyz missions in the Xyz summon missions in the Xyz event. That ship has sailed. So yeah, because of that, you're gonna see a lot of Numeron now. I mean, this is just Numeron. I wonder if wow, I didn't even check if this was legal for Xyz. I just put in Numeron cards, and this is completely legal. This is just a constructed Numeron list. Oh wait, oh no, two Numeron number instead of 3. Oh no. Okay, so anyway. Okay, yep. It's limiter. I don't own limiter because I don't play this deck, but my limiters. Yep, double. So the cool thing is you got some small world bridges into Lava Golem, and you got some small world bridges from Vic Viper into Numeron Wall. Or Vic Viper into stuff like your kaijus, and vice versa, and yeah, you could fit any small world bridge you want in Numeron now. It's great. You know, we're just running triple Numeron callings, and so we can run Desires. You know, it's another consistency card. Just triple gates. You can literally, you will gate someone 3 times in a row. And they're not gonna have to alpha it, and they're gonna disconnect their PC. Yeah. Yeah. I got nothing more to say. This is if you don't know what this card does, this is just a limiter removal that costs you a summon. You just special this when one of these declares an attack on an empty field, and it's like 8800, or it gives all your Numerons 20 an extra 1200, and that's game on an empty board. So yeah, you can run like 6 times a limiter if you want. This last one I have fortunately not run into, but I people have told me that they have. So I don't know how. There's no Hugin, like, and then again, you know, if people aren't on, like, I doubt people are on Cosmic this event, or like on like chainable spell trap removal or stuff like that. So, you know, that means they lose the 5 rainbow plus a mono plus Flying Sea plus Max C plus deck count plus L plus ratio plus Messenger of Peace. I mean, look, man, this looks like it works. Like, and also it's gonna work in that nobody's gonna want to play against this deck during the Xyz Festival, and as soon as they get 5 rainbow to mono Iwado, they're just gonna leave. So yeah, please don't play this one particularly. This is just like the least. This is like worse than True Draco during Xyz Fest, during the first Xyz. Okay, and now let's look at the missions for the festivals. And this was an oversight on my part. And this is probably a huge contributing factor to why people are playing all these non-Xyz decks in the Xyz event. So you see right here, well, the missions for Xyz summon a monster in festival. It does not specify which festival. You do not have to Xyz summon once during the Xyz Festival. You can do all this Xyz summoning in the Legend Anthology Festival. So that means you could play literally whatever non-Xyz strategy you want in the Xyz event, and it doesn't matter. You can complete this mission elsewhere. And as for Numeron, right? Like Numeron doesn't. I don't believe Numeron counts for the Xyz summon mission because you're not Xyz summon. You're just specially monster from the extra deck. I mean, that doesn't matter because you just go load any old random jank deck into Legend Anthology, get your Xyz missions that way, and then you don't have to worry about playing about Flying Sea during the Xyz Festival. And this is like the worst part. Like people hate on the Link event because the ladder system was stupid, which it absolutely was. But at the very least, the ban list, like Link event was probably the most hated event, I feel, out of all the events. But at least it had a ban list that encouraged the use and of the main summoning type of the event. Like all the most played decks were at least Link based decks. That is not the case with 2 out of the 3 Xyz Festivals we've had, especially this current one. So I don't blame anyone for just skipping the Xyz something part during the Xyz Festival and just doing the rest in Legend Anthology. Like that's honestly probably the play to do the fastest. It sucks for us that wanted to try our other Xyz decks, but Konami gonna Konami sometimes.